Hey there gamers. So in my last video I made a brief tutorial on how to make these custom character sheets, but that one I skipped a lot of the details because I wanted to make it as brief and concise as possible. But I'm sitting down now to make another one that's going to take a lot more work, and this one I was going to go ahead and record the whole session so you guys can see exactly how long one of these things takes to make. So I'm starting off with this one. I already kind of pre-made the background. I've been meaning to come back to this project for a while now. This character is Selvaria Virat. For those who have who have played Valkyria Chronicles, you probably recognize her as General Selvaria Blez. I'm going to turn her into a D&D character. I didn't like the last name Blez, so I used Captain Virat's name, the militia captain from that game. And just something about her appearance is vampiric in nature to me, so I was going to make her a vampire character. But that's neither here nor there. The point is, I found this image of her, very likely on Google. Cut her out of there, use that. This background here is actually from Final Fantasy VII. I believe Advent Children. There was originally Cloud standing here in the middle. Using Photoshop, I removed him and then just kind of blurred the background so you couldn't see the spot where he used to be standing. And then I put her there to further mask the gap where he used to be standing. But if you look closely, you can see how the buildings here, they go along, and then right there, look, that's just mush from where, again, he used to be standing. And then the city continues on. And then the other layer I had on there just now, not you. Yeah, I'll just undo. There you go. This one here, this was, I don't even remember what I searched for this one. Here, let's delete that, and then take this one back up to 100%. There we go. I don't even know what I searched to find this one. It might have just shown up with clouds, but it was originally a red and orange fiery type color. Swords were there was nobody in the middle. I just edited the color a bit and then put it over the other background, made it a bit opaque just to add a bit more color and I don't know, features, I guess, to the background. So anyways, I went through all that just to give you guys maybe hints or tips or suggestions on things you guys can do to make your backgrounds a bit more interesting. I already don't know what I'm going to do because I like my character sheets to be vertical, like a normal piece of paper, but this one is obviously horizontal, so I'm going to have to figure out what I want to do with that, but we'll figure that out as we go along. Alright, so let's see, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the character sheet that I plan on using, which I'm going to use the updated one. Again, I just want page 1. And I'm going to remember this. I can pull this later. Also, you guys, again, for those of you who haven't watched the first one, I've got a 3 monitor set up, so you'll see me pull stuff from off to the side every now and then. That's just know that's where that's coming from. OBS, the program I'm using to record this, will only show one screen. One second. There's probably a way to make it show all 3 or to switch, but I'm not that skilled with it yet, so don't know how to do that. Anyways, I like to keep a notepad open so I can just take little notes, reminders. Go go ahead and do OK on that. And again, also running OBS tends to slow down my computer, so you'll see these little bars when it's doing things that normally would be done almost immediately. So now I'm going to go here. I'm going to go the canvas size. I'm going to put in those dimensions I just copied over from the character sheet. That'll give me an idea of how much space I have to work with. Oh, I actually have more space to work with. Okay. I was worried I'd have less. I didn't actually look at the number. Okay, cool. So now, all I'm going to do is I'm going to go here. I'm going to do Control T. So give me my free transform. I'm going to spread this stuff out. So now, ideally, press enter there. I go to the next layer, do the same thing, Control T. But now, the character sheet and this sheet should now be the same page, or the same size. Control T on her. Now, she's going to be a bit of a problem because she's got that long lance. If I stretch up, no, that worked better than I thought, but I don't want her actually that tall. I just want to see if she'd fit in the screen. Yeah, see, that makes it look more like a sword and not like the lance it is. But I didn't want her that big anyway. So let's put her around here somewhere. Mess around with that a bit because I don't know, she looks too small in my opinion. I want her centered, but I don't want the lance to go out the picture. That's probably the best I can hope for at the moment. Put her about there. Okay, I can work with that. Alright, that'll work. So, let's see, next. Usually it's a safe bet to go with the ability scores first. I'm going to get rid of all the white background. It's going to take a second. I just use the magic wand tool over here, and I click just anywhere in the open area out here. It'll highlight all of this. Which, see, it's got all that, but it doesn't have any of the inside stuff highlighted. And I'm just going to go ahead and delete that. Alright, the other thing I'm going to do now, let's see, so I'm going to remove this background here. Now, let's see. I could take all of them, but don't think I'm going to. In fact, I haven't even decided what type of font I want to use with her. So let's go up here and oops, vampire font. Let's see what happens there. See what we can have pop up. Alright. Fonts. Oh, here we go. 1001 fonts. Again, another one I've used before. Wow. Right off the bat, I really like this one. But let's look at some of the others. Buffy, regulator. Oh, there's only 3 here. Maybe, but I'm thinking now. Spine biting. 5 big quacking zephyrs jolt my wax bed. What? Okay, whatever. Oh, okay, this one's not bad. Vampire calligraphy. maybe. So these two aren't bad. Vampetica regular and vampire calligraphy. And let me go back to the first one. Ricky Vamp Dator. That's a tough call. I can go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and count out vampire calligraphy. Don't want that one. But I don't know if I want Vampetica regular or if I want Ricky. That's a tough call. I think I'm going to go with Vampetica regular. Better for a character sheet. So download that, go here, just go to font. Open up fonts, open up this zip. No, WinRAR, I am not going to buy that. Oh, and look at this, they have, well, doesn't matter, I'm going to take them all. Where's that font folder? Here, yeah. Just take all of that and bring it in here. Doesn't take long, so those are all in here now. Oh, maybe they're all installed under one, which would be great. So, good. Close that, no longer need this. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this, I'm going to save as. This will be in my incomplete folder. Make sure I save it as a Photoshop file and save. Make sure that reaches 100%. I'm going to go ahead and close it. In fact, I'm going to close Photoshop entirely, and then I'm going to reopen it. Okay. Now the reason I closed it and reopened it is because the font will not show up if the program that you want the font in is already running. Okay, so this isn't the right one. This is the PNG I was using before. Open. There we go. I want this one. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and delete this one. I no longer need it. Save that one just to showcase the character. This is the one I want. Again, I'm going to have to go back in and open up the character sheet I'm going to use the boxes from. Page 1, okay. Let it do its thing. And while that's doing that, here on my second page, or my monitor over here, I'm going to open up the player's handbook. I don't think I had stats already made up for her. I might have, but let's check. Here, roll 20, character sheet, Silvaria. I do. So let's go ahead and open that up. That'll save me the trouble of having to roll stats right here. There it is, just taking a while. Alright, again that showed up on the other character sheet. Her stats were ridiculously high because, not because I rolled high, but because vampires get a lot of bonuses. So, she's got like, what, everything's +4 except one is +3. Yeah, I'm going to have to weaken her a bit, because this is just a level 1 blood hunter. But these right here, this information right here, all that stuff I just pulled from the, actually I pulled from the Monsters Manual for creating a vampire player. In fact, let's go ahead and open that up. I'm looking, vampires, $2.95. So yeah, if you go down here, boom, player characters as vampires. I'm not going to go ahead and read that to you. You can either Google it, or you can pause the video and read it, or you can open up your own handbook, but there it is. The key things: characters' strength, dexterity, and constitution scores become 18 if they aren't higher. So, I mean, vampires just get a lot of stuff. You can see 18, 18, 18, and then I got a +1 to wisdom and charisma, 18 and 19. So it's like really the lowest thing I have is 15 is that intelligence. But anyways, let's move that over here. Let's get back to creating that character sheet. Again, I'm gonna highlight all this stuff. I should have picked out my font before I started, but it is what it is. Alright, let's delete that. Let's go in here, delete that. And zoom in here. Oh, if I haven't mentioned it before, or if you haven't watched the old video, rather, hold Alt, and if you have a mouse that has the center wheel, while holding Alt and rolling up or down, you can zoom in and out. And if you hold Control, that'll do left and right. So I'm just going to take one of these. I'm going to go to my rectangular marquee tool. I think that's what it's called. Yeah. And I'm going to get rid of this. Then I'm going to go to my fill bucket. Now another thing you can do when you have the fill bucket and a few others selected is you hold Alt, it'll do the eyedropper, and that'll save you some time in trying to get those colors filled or selected. So I'm just going to fill that in. Alright, so after that's filled in, next thing we're going to do is we're going to take this marquee tool, rectangle marquee. Oh, give me 1 second. Step away real fast, close this door. Okay, so I'm going to pick out this box, take out this box right here, make sure I get the whole thing, Control X to cut, and take it over here to her, Control V to paste. I'm not quite sure where I want these to be yet, but not a huge deal. Now next, I like to use a dark gray color personally, or a light gray depending on the type of background I'm building. This one actually probably light gray will work better. I'm just going to fill that in. Might go back and use something brighter, I'm not sure yet. Let's go with this one. Alright, then I drop this down. 35 is usually my go-to number. But I'm thinking I'm going to be a little brighter this time. Let's try 45. Yeah, let's do 45. Then Control T. Make it a more manageable size. Always zoom out every now and then to look at your pieces at their full length. Alright, let's see, what do I want to do next? Next, I want to get the, you know what, no. Let's do this one. I'm going to just go ahead and name this as I go. So this one, just going to put STR for strength, and duplicate. This one, next one's going to be Dex. It's going to stack, so there, duplicate, Constitution, then we want Intelligence, we want Wisdom, and we want Charisma. Which I'm probably not going to have them To me, this is upside down. It doesn't really matter, but I'm not going to have them like that. Just haven't decided where I want to put everything. I still need to put her name on here, along with her class, race, what else? These are things I usually put around the edges. Need to decide where I'm going to put her skills, her saving throws, stuff like that. I'll probably put her skills and her saving throws over here. I could put her name along the bottom, which leaves this along the top, or I could go along here. Let's see what that looks like here. Normally I wouldn't really do it one at a time, but I do want to get these in the right order, so. Let's go ahead and fill in the text, which is the one in brown. Switch that. Oh, no, it was already silver. There we go. So, Varia. Let's highlight that. Let's bring it up to, I don't know, 500. Oh, and Prince Valiant actually looks good, but I'm not using Prince Valiant font. I'm using the one I went and found, Vampirica or something like that. Vampirica, there you go. Good. Oh yeah, that's gorgeous. Now do I want it along the top? Or I could lower the size and put it down here. Oops. 400. Let's see what 400 looks like. Nope, too large. So let's drop it 350. Now, obviously, because of the background, it's not the most clear, but I'm not worried about that because I'm going to show you how to fix that here in a second. I'm just trying to decide whether I want her name to be. It's already naturally darker down here. Man, there's so many things I'm not sure what I want to do here, but I'm not going to let that delay me further. Alright, so I've got that. The next thing I can work on, since I already have the text tool set, is I can fill in these boxes. Strength. Let's go down here. Let's bring that to, I don't know, size. Let's try 50. Oh, way too small. 100. That's better. Oops. Press enter. Zoom in here. Click in there, and let's relocate this. Strength. Is that how you spell strength? Why does that not look? Hold on. S-T-R-E-N-G-T-H. Yeah, I don't know. That font makes it look like it's spelled wrong, but I know it's not. Okay, whatever. Next. Dexterity. Constitution, which I'm going to have to drop that font a bit. Let's drop this down to 85. That looks about perfect. Another thing you can do for those really small things is come out of the text, go to this your selection tool right here, and then you can use that and just use your keyboard arrow keys to move it just for the slight adjustments. I'm happy with where that's at. Alright, after Constitution is Intelligence. So now I have it here. Constitution, Intelligence, yeah. I'm not going to bother raising the font size back up because this is another long word. It's probably going to need to be resized. No, that fits just barely where I want it. I'm going to probably bring this one back up to 100. Wisdom. And then last but not least, Charisma. I'm kind of putting it so that the first letter is kind of right where this first little hill is right here. But you can do whatever works for you guys. Alright, let's zoom out, look at it from the full perspective. Size looks fine. I am going to take out Blood Hunter. I was just having that there as, I don't know, just to see what it looked like. But I'm thinking I'm going to have it along the top. Let's go ahead and drop the, you know what, before I do that, let's move on to the next thing here. So, make sure when you're, what we're going to do next is we're going to merge the text onto these boxes. As you saw what just happened when I moved that box, charisma doesn't, the word charisma doesn't go with it. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the word charisma and the box charisma, and like I said, make sure the text is above the box itself. I'm going to right click on the box and choose merge layers. That brings that up there, charisma, and now whenever I move the box, text goes with it. Just makes things easier. And I'm going to go ahead and do that for the other ones as well. Oh, but left click wisdom, hold control, and then click the other one, and that'll select the two. If they're right next to each other, you can also do shift, but here's why you don't want to do shift here. Shift is going to select everything between the 2 points. If you hold control, it'll just choose the end. Okay, so then I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of them. We got wisdom, wisdom, right click the box, merge layers, boom. Intelligence, intelligence, right click the box, merge, layer 4, that's probably her name. I'm going to go ahead and skip that. Constitution, Constitution. And that's another example of why you want to go ahead and name the stuff as you're doing it. No, there's her name, so I'll have to figure out what that is. And then strength and strength, merge. Text, did I put any other text on here? Let's delete it and see what happens. I don't see anything has disappeared. I'm going to undo, let's do Control T. Initial bounding rectangle. Oh, so I must have clicked text somewhere and didn't write anything, so whatever, just delete that, it's taking up space. I think that's good. Now, again, I'm going to hold control, and I'm going to click all of these. Strength, Dex, Constitution, and Intelligence. I'm going to drag them all down here. Dexterity is still a little hard to see there. Let's see, what can I do about that? What I can do is I can bring strength, dexterity, and charisma back up here, and then take these three and bring them over to this side, so that they're both in the dark spot of that cloud. Never done one like that. Let's see how much I like that. Alright, I'm going to go back to here. You can do Control T to resize stuff. It'll, I guess it's kind of an unofficial way to change the font size, get it exactly how you want it. So that's another option to keep in mind. Oh, and I said I was going to show you how to take care of these spots. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go over here, click and hold. I like to use the rounded rectangle tool, but you can use whatever you want. There's all sorts of different shapes here. I'm going to use a rounded rectangle, and I'm going to make the box that size. So I'm going to bring this out over here. I don't know why this is the border size. Oh, actually, do I want to use a border? Yeah, I'll use a border. So I'm going to make that black. But they make the border, for whatever reason, like super thick. So let's just drop that down to like 5. You see how thin that is? There we go. I want it a little thicker than that. Let's try 15. Okay. Again, I went with like this silverish color, grayish color, whatever you want to call it. I want the text to show up on top of the rectangle. And then what I'm going to do with this rectangle is I'm going to drop this down to like 35. Now, it's still kind of hard to see. So what can you do with that? Go here, and instead of using a lighter gray, use a darker gray. I'm still only selected on the rounded rectangle layer. I'm going to go to this fill can, and I'm going to fill that in there. There we go. In fact, you know what? I'm going to go ahead, whoops. I'm going to do that to all of these as well. It's not going to let me do them all. Yeah, okay, so you got to do it one at a time then. Oh, you know what? I already merged them. Alright. What I'm going to do now is, this is, again, one of the reasons why these things take so long, because it's kind of trial and error. I went too far forward. I can't undo that far back. So, let's see. What's the next step? I want to do this now. Let's go forward again. Undo those two. I could just simply do them over again. It doesn't really take that long, but I'm not too concerned about it. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take this, I'm going to merge these two, and then I'm going to resize that box so that it's not kind of encroaching on that. There we go. And now much more visible there. You don't have to use the border if you don't want to. I just use the border because I thought it kind of matched what we had going on there. I could just make those darker, but I probably will go back and make those because I want this to match this shade as well, just for uniformity's sake. Alright, but I'll worry about that later. Next, let's do skills. Grab my handy dandy magic wand. Select all that stuff. Now something else you can do is I'm going to go ahead. I've still got my dark gray color here. And go ahead and pre-fill that. Make sure you get all the little gaps. It doesn't really matter whether you do it here, do it on the other screen. There we go. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and fill in all of these too. A little time consuming, but again, as I've said before, I said at the start, this is a time consuming process. Usually it does take me a few hours to get the sheet exactly how I want it. Now, you leave this as you want and go through and fill in all of those if you want. I'm not going to do that because I want all the fonts to be the same. So I'm just going to take all of this and delete it. I'm going to take the fill can again, fill all that in. Now I'm going to go here, fill, cut that, go back to Salvaria, paste. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back here and I'm going to undo. And I'm going to undo all of that. Well, not all of it, because yeah, I won't even go back that far. But the point is, I wanted to see this. In fact, I'm going to do one better. Go back to here and fill that back in, just so it's a bit more clear. I could look at a character sheet on another screen, or print one out and have one in front of me, but the reason I'm going to undo that is so that, in fact, I just moved the character sheet onto another monitor so I can see it, is so that as I'm typing in the new skills here, I can just look over and see whatever it is that is next, which skill comes next. Now then, this one, let's go ahead and, oh, did I change that? Okay. Then select this, Control T to resize, free transform, and move this over here. I usually put this in the start of the videos. I don't know how size I want that to be. Usually put this in start of the videos, but I'm going to go ahead and say it now. Everything I have learned and do with Photoshop, I've done via trial and error. So for those of you who have had like maybe professional classes or anything like that, you're going to hear me use terms that may be incorrect, or you're going to see me do things that, you know, to a person who has been trained seems a little silly. I'm just operating off of trial and error. So if you know a faster way to do the things I'm doing or a better way to do it, you know, by all means share the information, and I will, you know, go forward in future videos and redo that. Now what I'm looking at right now is I'm looking at how they did the saving throws, and I'm wondering if I want to make smaller boxes just like this, but one for each skill. Still use the 2 dots. The reason we're using the 2 dots is one is for proficiency, the second one is for expertise. And because that is bugging me, I'm going to go ahead and drop this transparency. Did I do 35 or 45? I'll have that 45. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to use these, keep these 2 dots, but then put this for each one of those. Yep, gonna go with it. Let's do it. Alright, so first thing I'm gonna do, let's see if I can do this with the magic wand. Let's take that, delete that, take that, delete that, that, and there. And this whole background, because I don't need this background. You can still see some outline there, very vaguely. Let's take that up to, well, no, 100 points should be good. And I'm just gonna kind of go over here, get rid of that. Make sure that didn't show up. And then just like I did before with the skill boxes, fill that. There we go. And this is just another example of how creative you can get with these character sheets. Let's take that down here. Zoom in, use my selection tool. Oh, that's what that is. Okay. That little dot right there was bothering me, so let's go ahead and get rid of that. And get rid of that. A little closer. There we go. Alright. I'm going to use these lines kind of as a guide. I'm going to put it on the line, but I want the line fully covered. So I want that about halfway through there. I like it. Let's go through here, refill, fill. It's going to overshadow that. How do I want to do this then? Okay. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to undo that. I just have this layer selected. So what I did just now is I went to the marquee tool, I hit Control A, which actually highlight the whole screen, and then I'm going to grab my selection tool and just move that around so it just does that. Now I'm going to go here, let's do adjustments and invert and see what that does. Not quite what I wanted, but that is kind of cool. Now let's see what that looks like. That 45%. Nah. Cool though. I'll remember that for future character sheets. Let's go ahead and undo. Okay. So then, here's what I'm going to have to do. I hope that's bright enough to where... No, it's not. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here. I'm going to make this a completely different color. Whoops. This little thin little line in there. Oh, it's really not differentiating. Let's do this. Make the tolerance down to 1. Okay, 2. Let's try 10. Okay. There we go. So I'm just holding Shift and I'm selecting these right here. Now I'm going to fill these with a completely different color. You don't have to use red. I'm using red just because it's convenient. Alright. Because I want that plainly differentiated from the white background. I'm going to go with my gray. And now, because it knows that's not all one color, it's going to separate that. I'm going to fill this stuff with gray. There you go. I'm going to go back to that light gray I had before, and that's what's going to fill in this color here. Now, I don't think it's a huge deal. It's not really going to bug me that much, but you can come in here and fill that in. And then this is just how detailed I get sometimes. Come here, get, nope, not you, where's that? Ah, here we go, pencil. And then just fill that in. Another option you could go with, is in here. You can go with the line tool. Just, you know, fill it in however you want, and then you could change the thickness if you need to, because when you like move elsewhere, you know, that's not going to be, that outline's not going to be noticeable. But just giving these examples of things you can do. See, something like that, that's going to bug me, so let's go ahead. This color, get that pencil tool, and just clean that up. Oh. Some people like to do it in bits and pieces, unclick, go again, unclick, go again, unclick. That way if you do, like I did, where you go in here and then you have a mix-up, you can undo, and it doesn't undo everything. So just depends on how steady you think your hand is. Most of the time, mine's pretty good. Alright. I'm gonna go here, fill that in. It's going a bit thicker than I would like. Not a huge deal, just bust out the pencil again. And for those of you with the really good hearing, or maybe you just have your headphones in and you sound on blast, you're not crazy. My kids are watching Moana in the next room, so if you've heard that in the background, you're not losing your mind. Let's go ahead and fill this in. Now, what most of you are probably thinking at this point is, unless somebody zooms in on this character sheet, nobody is going to see all of this, and even if they do, most people probably don't care that much. Again, well, you're probably right, you're not wrong. This is just me. It would bug me because I know it. See, like, there's no way anybody would possibly see that unless they zoomed all the way in here. But I'm the person that would zoom all the way in there, and it would drive me up the wall. So let's go ahead. Whoops, not this one. This one. Outstanding. It doesn't quite match, but whatever. That's close enough. That's not going to bug me. That, however, is there we go. And the best part is you only have to do this once, because once I'm done with this, I'm just going to duplicate it as it is. So let's go here, get that eraser tool, drop that down, probably to 5. Yeah. And nope, that's not going to do that. So then what I'm going to do now, let's get the brush tool. I'm going to go with whatever this color is. Oh, that's right, it's because of the opacity. Okay, so I'll just leave that be. That's not going to bug me that much. Alright, so now that I have this, drop this down to what, 45, I think is what I was going with. That's fine. Now I'm going to go here though, and I'm going to just select a chunk out of here. Cut, paste. Alright, that's what that is. So let's not do it that way then. I'm going to get rid of these lines. I was going to use them to keep, try and keep everything lined up, but when I make the other thing see-through, that becomes a problem. So let's delete that. Let's take my film, get that color, fill that in. Undo. Make sure I'm getting the right color. No? Okay. So then it's a pain in the ass, but what I gotta do is take that back up to 100% and do it that way. Take this back up to 100, get rid of it, get my fill bucket and the color I need, fill that in, then take the whole thing back to 45. Alright, now that I have that filled in, oh, good, nothing happened. I'm going to go here, I'm going to select this layer. Now I'm going to rename this. I'm going to go ahead and do scale box, so I know that that's what that is. And I'm going to go here, I'm going to position this right where I want it. Alright, again, Control A, select this box so I have just this, and you could do like Control X to cut and then paste. Then I can paste again, paste however many times I need. Doing it that way, as you can tell, you're going to have to go through and adjust the opacity of that. I'm going to actually make this 100. Get that where I want it. Photoshop's actually pretty good about snapping things into place once it kind of senses where you want it lined up. Oops. I lost count of where I'm at. I know there are 18 skills. So, okay. Now another thing that I just remembered, this particular style of character sheet does not make adjustments for, is when you have any other custom skills that you know, your DM grants you. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but yeah, I can't think of one off the top of my head. But what I can do, because it's on my mind, is I can select this and do Control T, and I can stretch that down. So I stretch that down, and then if I really wanted to, then copy these little circles and just bake more, you know, like just go here, select it, and then cut and paste, and I could paste however many I needed or wanted if I were inclined to do that. That pretty much takes up that space though, so I'm not really going to worry about it. I do want Salvaria, which is layer 2 on top of that. Or, let me see, maybe I don't. I don't know how I feel about that. But anyways, worry about that later. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take all of these. I'm going to hold Control. I'm going to select or Shift. I'm going to select each one. I could go over here and, like I showed you earlier, just do that. But the thing is, like, sometimes you can get other things mixed in here, and you want to make sure you have the right 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Like I said, there are 18 skills total, so yeah, that's about right. Alright, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these and I'm going to merge them. And that's why I said you want to make sure you have them. You don't necessarily want to do the shift, because if something else gets mixed in there, like for example, let's say I accidentally had my Constitution box mixed in there, then when I merge this, anytime I move these, that's going to move too. But we're not going to worry about that. So now that I have that where that is at, let's go ahead and drop them all down to 45. And then I'm going to take it with the skill box, right click the skill box, merge layers, skill box. So now I have my skill box with these exactly how I like it. You know what? I'm going to do one other. Let's go ahead and undo that. Let's undo that. Let's even go as far as to undo the merge of all of them. There we go. Because what I've decided just now I am going to do is I am going to allow for some additional skills. How I'm going to do that is I'm going to take these layers. I'll keep them the same. I don't need them. Let's go ahead and merge those, and let's go ahead and just move them out the way. Move them out of the way. And how do I want to do this? I want to add to the middle. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to, oops, there we go, my marquee. And I'm going to take all of these, I'm going to cut them out. Oh, skill box, there we go. And cut those, I'm going to paste them over there. I'm going to go ahead and get my handy dandy fill box. Make sure I'm selected on the skill box and fill that in. Then I'm going to stretch this out. That's probably a bit excessive, but we'll see. Alright, now I'm going to take this, that back in there. I don't know why it seems like it's off color, but not a huge deal. Get my fill box. Make sure I'm on the right layer. And fill that in. Or I could take this, let's position those there. Select with the skill box, here we go, and merge, and then refill it that way. So it's all the same color. Downside is I got to go through each one of those and do that. Not a huge deal, just a minor inconvenience. As I've told people online, nothing about making these is particularly difficult. It's just long and tedious. Alright. That's good. Now, let's take these, put these back here's what we're going to do now. I'm going to take, you know what, let's why not? Let's just fill it up from the top. Let's see if I go use this as a guide. That's 1, 2. Probably made space for about 2 more if I want to leave that much space. Maybe 3, maybe 4. 4 is about what I wanted. So let's go here. About too high. Alright, I'm going to go here. I'm going to select these 2 boxes. I'm going to cut. I'm going to paste it. In fact, let me see if I can undo. It doesn't usually work, but paste. Oh, perfect. Undo, and then I still have those. And I put those down here. And I'm going to paste again. Put 2 more down there. So let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Yep, I'm on about 4. So that works. I'm going to select this skill, this box again. I'm going to select just 2. Now instead of cutting, I'm just going to do Control-C, paste. It's going to paste it right on top of it. It's kind of hard to see, but they're there. And then once I get it reasonably close, zoom in, make sure I have it selected. I'm going to use my arrow keys to make the small adjustments, kind of make that line up. I'm not trying to line it up here. I'm trying to make sure the distance there is about the same, which in theory should be about there, but maybe not. Alright, cool. Now I'm going to paste again. I'm going to do the same thing down at the bottom. Good enough. And let me zoom out, look at the whole thing as a whole. I like it. And just to differentiate the normal skills from the extra ones that I put in there, I'm going to put a small line here, which, let me see, if I look at a normal 5e character sheet, oh no, oh, I'm thinking of a 3.5 character. Excuse me, I'm thinking of a 3.5 character sheet. That's probably what I'm thinking of. Let's see here. 20 tabletop books, 3rd edition, this player's handbook, character sheets, 3.5. Let's look at this one right here. Yep, that's what I'm thinking of. 3.5 has the extra spots. Alright, but it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to leave those blank so that if I want to add something later, I can. I've not done that with another character sheet, but inspiration strikes, you go for it. Now then, I'm going to make sure this font's the same color. I've already used up my 2 blocks. So I'm going to click on here, and then you can use fill bucket, you can use this, or you can just click on this directly and get that. That's the color I want. I'm going to go over here to the text. I'm going to click here, and then first skill we're looking at is acrobatics. Oh, did it not go with the color I wanted? Oh, I'm silly. Hold on. Let's delete that. I forgot to take all of these new additions, all of this and merge them. Oops, skipped one. So let's get U2 and shape 1. Shape 1, whoops. Shape 1 should be on top, so it's visible. Where's that line? Why is it not visible? Doesn't matter. Let's go here, here. I'm going to merge all of that. Merge layer. So now, yeah, that's all together. Good. I thought this was shape 25. Shape 1. Okay. Not a huge deal. Go here. Let's drop this down to 45. It's a bit more visible. And then the last thing we're going to do is I'm going to take shape 1 and that layer I just adjusted and merge it, because I want that visible. I want that to stand out a bit. Alright, let me see here. You know, on second thought, let's unmerge that a bit. And let's bring that up to 50. See what that looks like. It's not too different from there, but if I make the text like a bright white, I think that'll show up well. So yeah, let's go back to 45. And again, shape 1, that, merge. Alright, so now that all of that is together, now we can take the text, go right here. I said the first one was Acrobatics. Put it right there. Press enter, and then, you know what, let's see what happens. I'm gonna go to select, and I'm just going to use free transform to fill that in how I need it. That's good enough. Let's look at it from here. Acrobatics, readable from 100%. Now I'm going to go back into text and click this 68.48 point. Okay, so now I know what I need to use, what font size I need to use to fill in the rest of these. So we got acrobatics, we got, press enter and get another one, animal handling, which obviously that's going to be a bit shorter. You know what? I'm not even going to bother dealing with the numbers. I'm just going to free transform all of them. Arcana. And do I want it centered or do I want it over here? Cross that bridge when I get to it. Let's start with just getting them on the screen. Athletics. Deception. Oops. History. Oh, hey. Now, you could, in theory, press enter and then type them out like this, and then just hope that you have spaced them correctly so that they'll fit. But if you don't get that exactly right, that you're going to end up making more work for yourself. So I think it's easier just to make them separately, and then once you get them where you at the right distance, then you can merge them as necessary. Problem is keep hitting enter out of habit. If I press enter over by the number pad, it'll stop entirely. If I press enter right above the shift key, it just drops down to another line. Whoops. Capital N. Listen. Nature. Perception. performance, persuasion, religion, sleight of hand. You know what? I wonder if I should. Nah, I like it better with the low low. There you go. What was I? Stealth. And survival. Okay, so that works. Now, one thing I know I'm gonna have for her. Enchanting, whoops. Enchanting. Alright, so I'm going to go to my selection tool here, animal handling, Control T, and then just basically make the lines line up. See? Nice and easy. Arcana is next. Still haven't decided whether I want them to be centered or aligned left, but right now I'm thinking aligned left. You can click and drag. That's one way of doing it. Me personally, I prefer, you know what, maybe, nah. Get it to where they're roughly the same size. See, because I don't want acrobatics like that. Gotta find a distance that works horizontally. The font on athletics, because I like that one where it's at. I might make the other ones 56.8. I'll keep that in mind. So like I was saying, you can click and drag and then just move these up and down. That's not really my preferred method. I like to just select it, Control T, and then just move all the lines to get it where I need it to be. So like inside, for example, I'll just bring it in here and then bring this out to whatever looks like I want it to, but there's less you have to do if you do it that way. Less lines you have to move if you get them roughly in the right spot. Then you can just use your lines to get them exactly how you want them. Let's do intimidation next. Investigation. Medicine. And if I've said it once, I'll say it 100 times. There's nothing about making these sheets that's particularly difficult. It's just time consuming because there's a lot of little stuff like this that takes up a lot of time. Now, something I didn't leave space for that perhaps you want is on a normal character sheet, it'll tell you which modifier you use on the end of each one. If I mean, I've been playing long enough to where I don't need that little reminder, but you know, maybe you do, or maybe you're making these for somebody else who does, so just remember to put that in as well. I'm not going to worry about it presently. Okay, let's see, what are we going to do next? Alright, I still need to lower those down, but I'm not worried about that at the moment. After skills comes saving throws. So let's go here. These ones are already basically pre-made how I'd like them to be, with the exception of the text and the color, obviously. So let's go ahead, remove the text. I could just take one, or I could take, in fact, you know what? Why bother? I could just grab one of these. Let's go ahead and make sure I have this selected. Skills. Let's copy and paste. Take that out wherever I want it to be. And then something else I can do, take my handy dandy magic wand. So now I just take my magic wand, let's see, right here. Got that selected. And delete that background. Just click off your screen somewhere. And I can take these now. Just having 4 of them sitting off to the side doesn't really look all that appealing. So okay, so next what we're going to do is we're going to find a box or something to put this in. I don't want 6 of these just sitting, floating by themselves. And you know, kind of like this right here, where there's just kind of, this would just be a white background. That's not what I want. So I'm going to grab something, maybe one of this, maybe this. Let's see. Let's go ahead and get rid of the background. I'm going to take them both and see which one I like better. I'm going to select one of these. Now, of course, that's nowhere near large enough to hold this, or at least it's not the right shape. So I'm going to stretch that out. Let's have it the same width there. Can drop that down there. Click this, and I want that on top. Obviously I would change the coloring. Let's see what that looks like. That looks like no. So let's look at one of these. Delete that. Fill buckets. Problem solved. And cut that. Bring it over. Resize it. And I only need space for 6 of them, so that should be plenty. Nope. Alright. That could work, but I'm instead going with plan C, which is to basically take another skill box. I'll have to excuse my daughter who is now assisting me. I'm going to take all that, I'm going to clear it out, and I'm going to cut the whole thing, bring it back over here, resize it. It feels like these things are getting larger and larger. Alright, let's put that there, and let's drop that there. And then it's going to be about the width of 6 of those. Whoops, I don't want another one of those. I want another one of these. Highlight the whole area. Make sure I have that selected. There we go. Copy, paste. I need 6 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, excuse me, 5. That's right, because there is no. Oh no, it was 6 because I took the strength saving throw in order to make the other ones. Yeah, 6. You don't normally make. Which saving throw was it? Oh well, it doesn't matter. Alright, I don't want them touching. Close, but not touching. And you know what? I did want that too, that little dot for the efficiency. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these layers I just created, actually, and I'm going to delete them. Well, let me see. Would it be easier to make? I could actually just cut this out and add it to the other box, or I could just take this whole box as is and then recolor it. Yeah, I'm going to go with that route. Delete those. And then recolor these. Alright, actually before I recolor that, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this text here. I'm going to get this, get white, fill that in. Don't have to worry about that. And then I'm going to grab the whole thing. Control X, cut, go back to my character sheet, Control V, paste. And then, let's see, I'm basically going to do, just like we did before, let's go with this, get a completely different color, get our magic wand tool, tolerance still set to 10, and pick up these, hold shift, so I get all of them, and then fill them. Oh, perfect, did it all in one. Alright, now I go to my dark gray, fill that in other locations. Oh, whoops, there we go. I was trying to get the slider. Alright, now what I'm going to do over here is basically like I did with the red over there. Grab these, hold shift, and fill it with red. Outstanding. Let's grab this other color, make sure, eliminate the selection there, and let's fill that in. Fill that in. Oh, not you. And then again, we would get this this lighter gray color. And get rid of the red now. Actually, let's go back a bit. Huh. Maybe I'll have you light gray. then have that dark gray. We'll see how I like that. Alright. Yeah, that's better. Oops, a little too far. Alright, and just like I said before, you don't have to, but I know it's gonna bug the life out of me. So, not good enough. Let's 10 might be a little too much. Down to 5. 5 will do. I try and get out of the habit of doing long strokes, because then if you have a little mistake like that, and you gotta undo, you gotta go all the way back. But it's a habit I haven't quite broken myself of yet. A friend of mine, he actually likes to just do several little clicks like that. I think that takes forever, and plus, if you need to go back, it uses up all your undos, because you only get so many. Ah, Jesus. Alright, how about this? Let's zoom in. Oops, not that far. And just move over here to the left. Alright, that's good enough. Yeah, that's good enough. Okay. Let's select this, bring it down to 45, and of course resize it. Now I'm going to want it at about the same size as these for uniformity. Alright, and again, I'm not really concerned about this, that's going to be different, but the rest of it, I'd like to be as uniform as possible. That looks close enough. Yep, I'm happy with that. Actually, let's see, there we go. Alright, so I'm going to take this, move it down here, and we got our first saving throw. There we go. So need 6. First one. Let's just do str saving. Duplicate. You know, I think I'm going to put skills along the top there. Obviously it's skills, but I think that's going to look better in the long run. fill this in, drop this down, and let's bring out the text. Oh, no, wrong color. I want this one in the brighter color. Probably gonna go with something brighter than that. There you go, yeah. I don't know why I wrote saving. I meant to write skills, but not a big deal. Skills, and let's go ahead and blow that up a little bit. Oh, hey, easy there, Chief. Sorry, I'm a bit of a perfectionist. That doesn't look level. Why does it say 0? Okay, that's driving me insane. That does not look level. Let's just do it again. And as I suggested before, every now and then, zoom out, look at it as a whole. I don't like it extra large like that, so I'm going to bring it back in. That'll do. Alright, let's go down here. Alright. This needs to be up here. Yeah. And then same deal, let's go through, resize it, relocate it. I can't remember what these, they have them, yeah I do, have them closer to the base. And that reminds me that because of that, yep, I have them stretched out a bit more. Strength, dexterity, next, constitution, intelligence, yeah, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, charisma. I really really wish it wouldn't allow me to adjust the angle while I'm doing this, but it's not like an object where I can do Control T free transform. Oh, I take that back. I absolutely can. Well, that's what I'm going to start doing now. Constitution, intelligence. I could have sworn I tried that before and it didn't work, but it doesn't matter. Let's bring it here. So all I did was after I typed the word, I pressed enter on the on my number pad. Let's test this out here. Yeah, because if you do enter that's above your shift key, they'll just drop down to another line. But if you do enter over by the number pad, it'll actually deselect it. And then Control T for the free transform. Doing it this way instead of just holding Control like I suggested earlier actually prevents that from, see, I can't adjust the angle of the word. And then last but not least, charisma. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take both of those, and like I did before, merge the layers. So now they're not separating. Dexterity, oops, merge, charisma, oh hey, that's out of order. There you go. Constitution, Constitution. Merge. Intelligence, Intelligence. Merge. Wisdom, Wisdom. Merge. Charisma, Charisma. There we go. And merge. That should be all of them. Good. They're all set and good to go. Now what I'm going to do here, so I'm going to get them like that. Oops. And then just tab down, or not tab down, use my arrow keys to bring that down a little bit to something, I guess, that's a bit comparable to the size here. I'm not actually going to measure the distance. You know what? Maybe I will. Why not? Let's put that there. Put that there. I can grab both of those and bring them here. Let's grab Constitution, put that on top. Oh hey, easy there you. Intelligence, and that there. Now I'm just going to grab Intelligence and Constitution, slide them on down, and see, Photoshop's pretty good about assisting you with things like that. Kind of snapped into place, helped out a bit. Alright, that's good enough. Now last but not least is this box right here, which I'm going to Control T free transform to resize. Bring that up, and let's look at how this sees out here. Outstanding. Alright, let's see, what do I want to do next? I'm not going to bring over resistances, but in her case it might be Might be useful to bring over resistances just because she's a vampire, but for most of my other characters I wouldn't bother to do that. I still need AC, I need health bar. Let's see, not using that, not using those, not using those, not using those. I might use these boxes. Have I already started to? No. Let's check out the other character sheet. See what's on there. Just first page. Now I've always been fond of the shield armor class, way that looks. If I'm gonna use boxes, I'd probably rather use the other ones. Just fits the theme a bit better. Hit points. I didn't use these. What did I use on my other character sheets? Let's look. Let's go with Malfrin. Just need one. Just looking. Where is that box from? Oh, it is this box. It's just stretched out. Okay. Well, what I could actually do is just grab the whole, well, not from this one. This one's a PDF, but I have the Photoshop edit. I could actually grab this specific box and bring it over, but I'm not going to do that. Nope. Let's just grab one of these boxes. Magic wand, get rid of the background. And let's start with the armor class. Let's bring that over. I'm going to do the same thing like I did before with the others. Actually, let's see, I'm using the dark gray. No, I'm using the black as the border. Dark gray on the inside, so the black can stay as is. Let's go to my dark gray, get my fill key and fill that in. Oh, you know what? Back up. I'm not going to use this text. I figured that was going to happen. Let's just get the erase tool and do it that way. There we go. I want to make sure I'm not hitting that inner border right there. No, it's not the same shade. There we go. And sometimes, if you don't have the fill line still there when you do it, it'll leave that little thin line. Right. Let's do that. Change that color. Change that color. Let's get some text. Here, not white, but light gray. Second line. Make sure that is centered. Okay. And then I'm going to do like I did before. Control T and just resize it. That doesn't look centered to me. There we go. Much better. Alright, that looks good as is. Let's take that armor class and the shield behind it. Just layer 6, there we go. And merge layers. Now I'm going to reshade that and resize it. Just trying to decide where I want that to sit. I'll probably put an armor class here and an HP here. Yeah, I'm liking that idea. Okay, that'll do. You know what? I am going to use these boxes instead of the other one, just to try and keep it a bit more uniform. Use them all from the same character sheet. Fill, hold Alt, fill that in. You can see, like, because the square I selected is still selected, it didn't leave any of that outline. Whereas, let's see if it does it for me. If I get rid of that and then try and fill it in, no, it did this time, but sometimes it'll get all but the very outline of the pixels. So if you find yourself experiencing that, that's why. Let's go ahead and doesn't really matter if you recolor it here or there. Noticed it's going to bug me, so let's fill in the other ones. Alright. Cut this box, paste it here. That and resize. Now instead of having it into a square, I am going to reshape it into a rectangle. And let's put that somewhere around there. Now I still have a lot of area down here to use. I'm not quite sure where what I'm gonna put there, but we'll cover that as we go along. It's just something I've always done with my characters. Armor class and HP, for whatever reason, I tend to always put around the head. You see with Malfrin here, same deal. Hit points, armor class, right there next to her head. Cheyenne, armor class, HP. And of course with Rial, one of the first, armor class. Now with him, his hit points are actually above this head because I put 2 of them on there. But again, along the same lines, that's just my own personal flavor, whatever. You do whatever works for you. Alright, obviously that is not bright enough. Better. Oh, I think I actually put that in just the right spot. Close enough. Now, what you'll see me do in Adobe Acrobat is what I usually do is I prefer the number/number method. So you'll see, like, if her hit points were 34, you'd see 34 slash / 34, and then I just change the first number showing current and max. So there's no need to have multiple boxes for current hit points versus temporary hit points. I could do another slash or maybe parentheses if I wanted to show a temporary hit point. Oh, here we go. This is what I was talking about. Current hit points here, and then max in another box, and then temp in another box. I think that's just a waste of space. Now, if I hit paste, good, I still have these boxes, or this box, because I'm going to use this for, here we go, my initiative, my speed, and my proficiency bonus. What do they have for proficiency bonus on this one? What I have over here. Well, I'm not going to do that. I like 3 boxes, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take, have 3 of these on there. Now, where do I want these to sit? Down along here. Oh, hey, easy there, Chief. Yeah, just... Why are they acting like that's merged? Oh, because I do have them selected. There we go. Just want this box. There we go. Cut and paste. And 3. I guess that'll do for now, unless I change my mind later. Let's see. What else am I gonna put on this character sheet? Again, kind of useful to have, but I don't think I'm gonna use. I may use it, just depending on how much space I have. I think I'm gonna use this. I really like this. This box they've got set up. I've tried set up similar things with my other character sheets, and it just didn't come out as well. But as you can see here, I was trying to combine this with equipment with gold. It works, but as you can tell, it's kind of cluttered. Same with Cheyenne's. Yeah, see, like with hers, it works, but font's kind of small and kind of cluttered. With Malfrin, I tried a different approach. Instead of having things set to lines, I decided to keep the text just completely open. I don't have anything in there now, obviously, but instead of having lines there to separate each thing, I just have an open text field here to type in my weapons and attacks however I feel necessary. She's an NPC anyway, so. But yeah, I think I'm definitely going to use this one. So let's go back to here and fill these in. No space. Bonus. resizing that later. Whoops. There we go. Initiative, speed, proficiency bonus. Oh yes, her passive perception. We can put that in the fourth box, actually. Now another thing I do sometimes is I'll take the passive perception box and I'll put it just right here off to the side of the wisdom box, just so you can see this is wisdom score, wisdom modifier, and then right here passive, but again not really necessary. Let's go like that, resize you to fit in this box. Let's actually get you inside the box. Beautiful. Even better. Alright. Bring that up. We can actually make this a little larger. I don't want it that tall. Speed is actually... yeah, in fact, I think I liked it right where it was at. Perfect. Beautiful. Alright, let's go ahead and merge these. Alright, let's go ahead and move that weapons box in. Now, I am obviously going to have to do a bit of work here. Let me see. This problem is, these lines here are already the shade of gray that I want to put on the background, which means I need to make all these dark lines light. I could go the route of selecting this and inverting the colors, and then adjustments, invert. now that I've got it inverted, I can select the dark, the black area, and undo that. And then let's fill that with gray and see what that looks like. They could be brighter. Okay. So then my other option, though it is a bit tedious and time consuming, two options rather, I can delete the lines altogether and make new lines, or I can select each one. You know what? I just thought of a third option. I can delete out all the white space and then go in here, select all of those. I should just, yep, select all of those, and then I can fill them with the light color. If I hold shift, will it do all of them? Nope, still gotta do them one at a time. So, a bit tedious, but I've probably mentioned that and warned you of that at least, what, like 3 times now? None of this is particularly hard, just tedious. If there were a faster way to do this, and you know, you have a faster method, by all means, please let me know. I mean, besides one of the other methods I've already suggested, you know, as far as making new lines and then copying and pasting and replacing them myself, things like that. Because in that particular case, I've already considered it. I just chose this method instead. Alright, so let's do that here, and let's see how this looks now. Much better. Not really concerned about those because, again, I'm going to retype those anyway. What is that? Is that a face? Oh, that's pretty cool. I like that. I liked it better. Like that. Alright. Let's go ahead and cut that. Bring it here. And of course the resize. There we go. Come on. You know what? I'm not even gonna. I don't know why I sit there and mess with that. Alright. don't think I really need properties. That's not one you use too often, but I'll let it stay. Because otherwise I'd have to readjust the whole box. I selected that. There we go. Outstanding. Now, I'm going to take all of that and just check, make sure you are. I thought so. Layer 7. Merge layers. And we're going to call this, let's just say italics. Oh, something about having that one at 45 doesn't seem... You know what? That's why. Because before I merge those, I need to take this down to 45 by itself. And then I merge all the words. There we go, yeah. That made that match those much better. Okay. What's next? Class resources. I don't need that. What was on the rest of this? Open. I'm actually going to do it from here. Character sheet here. Alright, so I don't need feats and traits, that's already here. Don't need armor proficiencies, weapon, tools, language. Don't need gold, that stuff's going to be there. Those traits are going to be there. Inventory. Inventory's right here, so I don't need to worry about that. On the front page, all the spell stuff is here. Oh, there you go. Now, again, something, or actually I don't even know if I mentioned it before, but something I personally like to do is I like to add a goal to my characters, and I usually require that my players do as well, just because it gives the DM a bit more room for sporadic storytelling, I guess. You can toss in things for a player to reach their goals, and it does a lot for roleplay in the game. But I don't really, unless I want to put it on her character sheet. I could maybe squeeze a box down there and do just a quick goal summary. But I don't know, it seemed crammed if I do it there. No. Alright, let's check some of my other character sheets. I have all that. I have my passive. Inspiration. Did I do inspiration? I thought I did. Initiative. Nope, I need to do one for inspiration. Okay. Let's see. So I need inspiration, initiative, speed. That's there. Equipment. That's gonna be on page 2, inventory. Yeah, that's going to be page 2. So I don't need to worry about this box. Feats and traits, that's also on page 2. I don't need to worry about that box. Skills and saving throws, there. Yeah, that's it. I just need to put in her her level and her alignment. And that should be it. Inspiration, level, and alignment. And then something else I'm going to do with this character sheet. Malifren's the only other one I've done it on, or I actually put lines here to denote text boxes, because on other sheets, let's do Shanna. There are obviously spots where you would assume that you can type, but then there are other spots, like without this line being there, you wouldn't really expect you could type after here and here. Here, yes, because level has to be something, but without those two lines, I don't think most people would realize that the intent is for a person to type in whatever they are when they're multi-classing. Alright, so inspiration. Do I want to do... What's that look like on this character sheet? Let's try here. You know what? I think I'm actually going to take this and use one of these for inspiration. But I have an idea, because for whatever reason I don't really like having this on the right side since everything else has it on the left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the text out like normal. Let's delete that out. Get my fill bucket. Oops. And then I'm basically just going to flip it over. There we go. Bring that to solid 180. And done. Now, just like I did before, I'm going to change the colors here. Go. And then I am going to get that light gray, that silver, whatever you want to call it, and fill that in. And drop that down. Let's get our text. Inspiration. Oh, that might help if I resize that. Let's go to something comparable to this. That'll work out perfectly. Let's put that, I was thinking right here, but I don't know if that's going to be nose. Whoa. How do I make a copy? Oh. Well, that's cool. Apparently, if you hold Alt, click, and drag, it'll just automatically make copies of something. That will save me some time. That's good to know. I am thinking, though, I don't want the light border on that, so let's bring this back to black. Yeah, that's better. Also, I'm not going to have it as thin as, the skills and saving throws. Like the others, I am going to have it close to the base, and then spread out. It would be great there if it fit, but in order to get it to fit the way I'm envisioning, I would need to stretch this out a bit. Let's see if that's not too much of a hassle. Don't think it is, but oops. Oh wow, did I really not merge those yet? Well, that's fine. Or maybe it isn't actually, because the skills all got stretched. Now, let's go ahead and stretch that out, so now those are all the same size as well. Bring that down so it's not clipping the charisma box, and I think I'm happy with that. I don't know, it still looks squished to me, but worry about that another time. Alright, the last thing I need, I believe, was just her name. I have inspiration, color stats, skills, initiative speed, none, that's all page 2. Most of that's page 2. Hit dice. You know, I do have the extra room. Yep. Why not? Let's make a box for hit dice. I'm going to put hit dice. I'm probably going to put down here. I'm thinking. And once you have like most everything done, once you have most everything done, then this is the part where you really get to just you merge everything, and you get to mess around with it, move the box around to just see how you generally like everything. All of those. And enchanting is what I did. Whoa, what did you just do? Oh, okay. Merge. Be that, make sure everything is still, yep. Change that to skills. And put that there. And, now that I've moved that down, let's move that up a bit. Let's resize you so that you're the same height as that box. You are a little bigger. Never close enough. Put that right there. And then I can prop these right on top. Whoa, I didn't merge those. So once you're pretty sure you've got everything how you like it, you can go ahead and merge these things. Are you already merged? Yeah. Oh, so it's just that one I forgot. Okay. Proficiency bonus, initiative, and speed. Just stack those over each other. Whoops, hey. Stack those over each other, and Control T, resize them so that they're all roughly the same size. There we go. I can place my inspiration right on top of that. Beautiful. I like it. Now, like I said, the last thing I was going to do is make hit dice. I'm going to use my new little trick, make a copy of that. You know what? I already merged those things, didn't I, though? Yeah, I did. So, yeah, no, that's not going to work. Well, I have that pasted. Let's go back to here. I'm going to steal another box. Cut, paste, recolor, just like I did with the other boxes. Just place a corner on line with the hit points and resize it till they match up. Now I don't actually want hit dice sitting right next to hit points. I think I'm going to put it down here. Maybe over here. No, I'm going to put it on the right side. So right here. Alright, and that's it. That's a complete character sheet. But the only thing I still need to do with the sheet would be to, you know, put in her alignment and level and class. Decide where I want that to be. Ooh, inspiration just struck. Just like kind of like fine print, I guess, along the bottom here. Level. I'll leave a spot open. Level blank. Blood Hunter. I actually don't think I know her alignment. I didn't pick one for her. I'll just put neutral for now. Don't know if I mentioned, you know, yeah, I mentioned it when I put her enchanting skill on there. Her hobby is going to be as an enchanter, in this case enchantress. Blood Hunter, bring that down, neutral, bring that up, and there we go, that's good. Now that's not going to sit well. There, so. Black border, light gray on the inside. Yeah, that looks about right. Or was that darker gray? I think it was that dark gray. Let's bring the point border out. 5 point. That should be good. Yep, beautiful. Rounded rectangle. There we go, and now I get to use my new ability. Resize that there. But I want to make sure this stuff is on top so it shows through clearly. There we go. Hold Alt, click and drag. There you go, Control T to resize. I'm not going to have her play neutral, I never played neutral characters. But I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. I like it. I like it a lot. I'm still not quite sure how I feel about all this open space right here, but that's not a huge deal. I could put a feats and equipment or feats and traits box if I really wanted to fill in that space, but I don't think it's necessary. Alright, so now if you thought the other stuff was tedious, wait until you get to what's next. Alright, so what I do now is we take this and I'm going to go with save as. Alright, it's no longer in the incompletes. This is complete. So I'm going to go back here. I'm going to go to edits. This is where I save. I already have one I was working on before. Save the edit. Now make sure, hold on, I'm saving this as Photoshop PSD. The reason this is important is because when I reopen this particular file, the edit file, in Photoshop, I'm still going to have all of these layers. If you save it as a JPEG or a PNG or basically anything other than Photoshop here, it's automatically going to merge everything into one layer and you're not going to be able to make any adjustments. So save it as Photoshop right here. Save. I'm going to overwrite the other one. Now I'm going to come here and I'm going to save as. Oh, hold on. Wait for it to finish saving. Alright, I'm going to go to save as. I keep mine separate. That's just me. Now I'm going to go down to Photoshop PDF. You see these ones right here. I'm going to take off the word edit. This is no longer a Photoshop file. This is a PDF. Save PDF. Wait for it to finish saving. And what it does, I don't know why, it's probably a setting I can change, but when you save it as a PDF, once it hits 100%, it likes to open the PDF for you, which it'll do here shortly. May have mentioned it before, computer runs a bit slow when I'm running this and OBS. Did it open it in another screen? Oh, it didn't open it this time. Whatever. Alright, so next, Adobe Acrobat 7 Professional. Let's go ahead and open that up. Alright, now once you've got this up, we're going to open Recent Places for Me. Let's see, Custom Character Sheets, Sylvaria. Open up this PDF. Alright, now I forgot I was going to put lines, not really all that important. This is why I said it gets tedious. Let's see, the only two things you're really going to need to use here is this, the checkbox tool, and this, the text field tool. Let's start with the checkbox tool. So the controls to zoom in and out don't work the same here as they did in Photoshop. There we go. Alright, so we're starting with checkbox. It'll be difficult to get these exact because you're making a square on a circle, basically. So it's hard to get. It's going to be hard to get that exactly centered. All right, font size auto, text color, or in this case the checkbox. I'm going to make that white. Don't need the border. Don't need the fill color. General checkbox 1. Now this is important. You have to name each checkbox something different, because if you name them all the same, in fact, I'll show you why. Let's go to options. I'm going to make this circle and close. Now I just named that checkbox 1. I'm going to copy it. It's already selected, so I'm doing Control C, paste. Another thing that kind of sucks is no matter where you paste, it's always going to put it near the center of the image. So I'm going to bring that over here. Now, these are both named the same thing because I just copied and pasted, right? Watch what happens when I select one. They both lit up. And that's basically what's going to happen if you don't name everything something different. So, we're going here. Proficiency 01. And what I like to do is I leave off that 1. I'll do Control C for copy. That way I can just go here, paste 2. Now I'm going to select both of these, copy, paste, drag these over, but I gotta double click, go in, 3, U, 4. Try and get them as centered as possible. Otherwise you're going to have some ugly looking circles. Now you can click 1, hold shift and click the bottom. That'll speed things up a little bit. Select all 4, paste, bring them on over. And because these are roughly the same distance apart, they should line up. Alright. Excuse my slow moving computer. This program, in fact, I'm not even going to blame this one on my computer. This program in particular has always kind of been a little shaky for me. Let's bring that up and bring that up. No, I just did 4, so this one. 5. 6. And you don't actually have to click close every time. 7. 8. Now with that one selected, go back here, click the very top, copy, paste. Let's bring this over, try and get that lined up. This one, paste 9. Paste. Let's do that. Copy. 10. 11. Oops. Paste. There you go. Oh. There we go. 11. Let's make some slight adjustments there. Same with you, move you up a little bit. 12. Next. 13, 14, 15, and 16. Alright, that's good. One, two, three, four, five, six. So I only need 6 of these. Don't need to grab them all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Up to here. Copy, paste. Grab these from over here. Yeah, my view. Yep, there they are. Let's bring these over here. Alright, what are you? Leave that one. Your proficiency 15, 14, 16. So here. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22. Okay. Now, for the sake of this video, because it is still just a tutorial video, I'm going to go through and do the second row as well, and I'm just going to put expertise 1 through 22, but I'm not going to do that right now. Alright, because there's at this point no value in recording that. Just know that you need to do that for each one of your skills. If you use double bullets like I did, you'll need to do expertise as well, and then 6 more for your saving throws. Alright, after that we go over here to our text field box, text field tool. This one is a bit easier, but along the same lines. So let's go ahead and zoom in. I'm gonna make my text field box, and you might as well just, like I said, get into the habit of naming all the stuff. Now, tooltip. You can put, like I said, if you're making this character sheet for somebody else, or maybe you just want a reminder, you can leave a little tooltip so that when they hover the mouse over the box, it'll show them. Sometimes I'll put like STR for strength and then actually write out strength there. Not necessary, just up to you. You can do a border and fill color. Fill color and border might be useful in one, showing an area where you can type. Like I said, I was going to do lines here, and I'll worry about that later. I'll probably put those in later. But if you don't want to use lines, you can use a border color perhaps. Do something like that. And then go here. See, now maybe you can tell everyone where you see a box like that, you can type in, or toss in a fill color. I don't think you're going to be able to make any changes as far as making it opaque or anything like that, but you have some options there. You can mess with that. I don't like using those, which is why I made sure everything would be visible in Photoshop for when I'm typing. I'm going to make text color this light gray. I'm going to make the font the same as every other one, Assassin. You can't type it in. So know that when you're using a custom font, for whatever reason, it's got them separated oddly. I don't know why, but in the block, the big block that has most of the fonts, that's where you're going to find your custom fonts. Alright, here's another thing that's important for these. You're going to want centered. If you're using like a feats and traits, like on my other character sheets, you're probably going to want that to the left, things like that. Multi-line, for this, not important, because they're only just putting a couple numbers. But again, for like feats and traits, multi-line, you're going to want that checked. Long scroll text just means it's going to continue out if necessary. That's pretty much that. There's some other things you can do if you want to get fancy with it. Actions, format, validate, calculate. I've never messed around with these, but you could actually set something up so that you put the score right here and it'll automatically put their modifier right there. If you wanted to get fancy with it, I never bothered to mess with that. Alright, so you're going to want to copy that box and paste it. Then grab it and move it over, rename it. You could make each box every single time, but if you're going to do that, you're going to have to go through, set the colors every time. You're going to have to find the font every time, as well as changing the names. So you might as well just copy and paste it and then set the just change the name. Alright, so then you grab that, bring it up, double click, and now Dex. Now you can do like I did before, you know, select more than one, copy and paste. Entirely up to you. This one, intelligence. I already have two selected. Just hit paste again. And there you go. Wisdom, and this one, charisma. Alright, now something else you're going to want to get in the habit of doing is just use one box for basically everything. Take that, resize it, let's go ahead and zoom in. Wait for that to reload. And it's important to get the box sizes accurate, because I recommend using auto font size. So it'll use a font size, whatever font size is appropriate for the size box you set. Alright, I don't think I need to do anything else, but you are going to need to hit each one of the scores, AC, hit points, all your boxes basically. Go down all your skills, your hit dice, saving throws, weapons. Now, once you have everything done, I'm not going to do everything here because it's not necessary. Take it, save it, it's saved as a PDF. Now, the last thing you want to do, go to File, Create PDF. For multiple files, browse, choose the character sheet you're working on, add, and use the PDF of whatever character sheet you built it from. Click OK. It's gonna automatically bring it up for you to save. Don't worry about that, just cancel that. Alright, So now what I have is I'm set up to have a PDF that's got my first page and the other pages. You don't really need the first page of the character sheet, this one right here, because you pulled all the boxes from here and put it up on there. So that one's a waste. Just select it over here, hit delete, delete that page from the document. Now you have your custom page 1 attached to the character sheets page 2 and page 3. So you take that, save as, and I save it over that right there. Replace existing file. Oh, it says it's already open because I still have it open in Photoshop. Save, Silvaria, PDF, yep. Or maybe it's saying it's because I have it open, yeah, I've got it open here. There we go. Let's try this for the third time. Silvaria, save, replace, yes, okay, there we go. Now, I can go here, character sheets, custom character sheets, Silvaria, open it up when it's ready for game time, or when I'm just prepping. I don't know, +3. I don't remember her stats offhand, but and there you go. You can zoom out. Of course, this this character sheet. Oh yeah, okay. Normally I use the other character sheet. Let me open it and show you what I'm talking about. Is it on here? No. Here we go. Here we go, character sheets. So this is like the generic 5e one, and it's already, you know, comes pre with the boxes filled in. Apparently Matthew Perkins didn't do that for here, for this one. So if you're going to use this one like I am, then you're gonna have to take the time to fill in the text boxes just like you did up here for all of these. You're gonna have to do it for each one of these. Tedious but necessary, and the good news is you only have to do it once. For this one, for this stuff, you only have to do it once. For the first page, obviously you'll have to do it every time you make a new character. Now before we close out, there's one other thing I want to show you. What happens if you've made your character sheet all nice and whatever, you've been using it in game, and then you decide one day, oh hey, I don't know, I'm gonna multi-class, or I'm gonna add something to my character sheet that wasn't initially there. Here's what you do. Go back into Photoshop. Open up that edit file. Edits. Silvaria. Or maybe you just don't like the formatting on the character sheet. You don't like the font color. I don't know. Anything you want to change. Let's say you change something. Here, I don't know. Put the AC over there and hit points over there. Alright, I have it. I'm going to save my edits. For that to reach there, I'm going to go to Save As. Now, when I go here, save it as a Photoshop, I'm going to save it as a PDF, but I'm not going to save over the one from before. I just use a simple 01. Alright, so I have that PDF. Wait for that to finish saving. Might take a minute or two because I'm running OBS. At 99% and should be done any second now, hopefully. Okay, whatever, good enough. Alright, so here I have this one open. Now I can open up the one I just made. Whoops. Oh, that would be Photoshop opening up the PDF for me, as I told you it likes to do sometimes. I open up the new one I just made with the changes, and there's multiple ways you can do it. Me, I like to put them side by side, give you half and the other one half, but it doesn't really matter how you do it. Alright, assuming I have this page all done, I'm going to click a spot, I'm going to hold shift, and I'm going to click over here, and I'm going to select all this stuff. And you can do it with your checkboxes for your skills too. Control C, copy. Ignore that one, bring up my new one, paste. And the boxes, they 9 times out of 10 will not be in the right spot, as you can see here, but they're all the same measured distance. So all I have to do is line up one, and boom, they're all in the right spot. Alright, now obviously in this case I switched those two, so I would need to do those two individually, but I don't have to do a whole lot in changing the character sheet. And another good thing about that is, let's say on the other character sheet I had all her stats filled in. Well, when I copy that and I paste it here, all the stats are the same. All the text, all the whatever skills, proficiencies I have checked, all that stuff, it's still there. You don't have to retype the character sheet. The only thing you have to do, like I said, copy, paste these boxes over, and then you have to, again, create PDF from multiple files and add your page 2 and your page 3. That's the only thing you have to do. So it's not that difficult if you make any changes to the overall character sheet. Alright, so covered how to make the character sheet from scratch, even showed you some tips and tricks how to make it fancy, brought it over into Adobe Acrobat, showed you how to fill in your proficiency buttons as well as all of your text boxes, and tossed in a little how-to for updating your character sheet if necessary from Photoshop to Adobe Acrobat Professional with the minimum amount of busy work. Let's see, I think that pretty much covers everything as far as how to create one of these character sheets. However, if you do have questions, feel free to shoot me a message, join the group DMs of the Forgotten Realms. You might be able to reach me on Tavern at the End of the Internet, or just generally on Facebook. I'm probably going to post this to YouTube, so put it in the comments, but don't be surprised if I don't read the comments on YouTube, because I don't really use it that often. So hope to see some more character sheets out there, and happy gaming.